Hey bike farmers, thanks again for tuning in. We got our next project here, a TREK 4300. This is a pretty nice older TREK mountain bike. You know, these make great all-arounder bikes for just about anybody, but the kids really like them. It's a great way to get into mountain biking. A great way to bomb around town with your friends. They're nice and durable. This one has been sitting in the parking garage at a condo complex. So it was given to me. It was an abandoned bike. You know, the old owners apparently left it behind and the new owners didn't want it. So it gets put in the pile, and sometimes I end up with these bikes. It's got some nice lights on it that I'll take off, and but it's mostly really dirty. But we got to go through and clean this thing real good and get it lubed up and adjusted. It's going to take a little bit more than 20 minutes. This isn't a 20-minute tune-up, but maybe in an hour we could have this thing good to go, good as new, maybe even better than new. So enjoy the ride. Thanks for tuning in, and let's get started. Yeah, you can see just how filthy this thing is. I mean, you can't even read the writing on these brake levers. It's just really gooped on there. Very dusty, very grungy. You know, there's some rust and filth. Things are pretty rusty back here. You know, that surface rust on the drivetrain components doesn't bother me a whole lot. If you lube it, they're still okay to be in service. A little worried about those rotors. Hopefully they clean up nice and don't howl like a banshee. Yeah, we're gonna start, I think, by just spraying this down and really getting after it. I think a good place to start on this bike is by removing this rear light. These flares are pretty nice rechargeable lights, actually. Nice and bright. It's a Flare 3, a little bit older, but still a really nice rear blinky. And then is this rechargeable as well? It looks like this one takes some batteries, but batteries are still good. Anyway, if we do that, then we can find a spot on that seat post to clamp the bike. I can tell that these tires are going to hold air. They're not completely flat. It's always a good idea to start by bringing things up to pressure. And then if you're low pressure by the end of the tune-up, you know you got something to address. So this chain is really goopy. So I'm going to hit it with some citrus degreaser. I don't want to hit it with the speed clean quite yet. Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, let's see here. I'm just going to kind of spray a few things here with citrus degreaser to get it soaking. I think that's just for good measure. Part of the cleaning process. Gotta start somewhere. Okay, wheels off. I got a moderately dirty rag here. It's pretty dirty, but that's okay. I don't really like spraying calipers, brake calipers, like that. But in this case, I think it's okay. Behind the filth is a pretty nice bike. That's what I'm starting to learn here. I think this one got purchased and sat in a filthy parking garage. Maybe in one of those storage units or something. Look at that, shines right up. Get the front derailleur out of the way. Shift up into the high gear and get your rag back behind it. Starting to pick up some of that degreaser on my rag. This bike has a kickstand on it. That's kind of nice. I like kickstands. Nice and practical. Not everything's a race bike. And if it's not a race bike, wow. Not everything's a performance bike. And if it's not a performance bike, why not have a kickstand? Let that compressor go for a little bit. Okay, compressor's done. Good bunch of furniture polish on here. Stuff does a good job of cleaning too. Just a lot of cleaning. Got to wipe everything down. These parking garages really are filthy. Just cleaning everything. Well, I think I got a customer here. So up until today, I've been only doing these videos when the shop isn't open. But I'm currently caught up on tune-ups, paid work, and I'm really low on my used inventory, so I gotta get some bikes done. And my guy, my helper, Andrew, has a couple days off, so I'm in the shop and thought, heck, you know, might as well do some used bikes and record them. And I can kind of keep an eye on things. I can look out the window over here and see when the custies show up. There was somebody coming off the bike trail. Well, I think they were in the bike trail. I don't know. He said his friend was up the way with a tire issue, so he was buying some CO2 cartridges. He was on a rescue mission. We'll see if they come back with a bigger problem for me. So there's some rust on the stanchions here. Kind of hard to get behind the bridge there. But a little bit of steel wool usually does the trick. Looks a lot better. A little bit of one step, just to kind of lube things up a little bit. Get it all over the place. Speed degreaser really is an aggressive cleaner. And so when you got to get into the nooks and crannies, sometimes it's the best thing. It evaporates pretty good too. Wake you all up from your naps. So I usually save this step till the end, but I'm over here thinking about it. But it's nice to take some lube and drop it on all the bolts, all the bolt heads. Keep rust at bay. Can do that all over the bike. Okay, onto the wheels. I never did get around to putting air in this front one. I remember now. My friend Joel showed up with his daughter's bike. That's what I was doing back then. That adapter, the Presta valve adapter, was stuck on there. It's kind of weird. Put a good amount of air in there. Make it firm. There's a wobble, not too bad. It's a disc wheel, so we don't have to worry about brakes rubbing. But we still like to get the rims true. I think I have an episode where I built a wheel from last winter or something, and talk a little bit about wheel tension or spoke tension and everything with that. You know, when I build a wheel, I measure the tension and make sure everything's even. That's really important. And I suppose, you know, if I was hired to like really do a high-end wheel true, I'd measure everything. But for the most part, once the wheels are built, you can kind of trust that they were tensioned properly. And you just want to even things out so the rim's straight. And I think you're going to be in the ballpark, or that's what I've found. I mean, I haven't had a whole bunch of wheels come back failed in my life. Wheels wear out. There's a lot going on in a bicycle wheel, a lot of forces at play, and the metal fatigues. You'll start snapping spokes eventually. Okay. Well, we got customers here again, but that's good spot to pause. Get a little extra love on this hub. The skewer is pretty rusty, missing some parts. So, missing the springs and the nut. Someone go dig that stuff up quick. Just like to put a good amount of grease on it, and then I put a little bit of grease on the other spring. All right, that wheel's pretty good. Work on the rear wheel now. Same procedure. Really ripping through some rags today, these filthy bikes. This bike's a nice size too. Nice medium large size. Good customer base for this one. Disc brakes, hydraulic disc brakes. Still a 3x drivetrain. You know, the kids on the mountain bike team are kind of privy to the technology, but the rest of the kids just want a mountain bike. Thought I heard a customer, but I think it was a kitty. Harder to get back at the hub on these disc brake wheels. Shined right up. Little compressed air goes a long way. It also, what's it called? Aerates everything? No. Pretty clean. Go through and lube our cables. And just disconnect them all. And it's really only the front and rear derailleur cables, because we've got hydraulic brakes on this one. Hydraulic brakes that still feel good enough that I don't have to bleed them, thank God. These are old Hayes brakes and would challenge my abilities, I believe. So let's see here. Gotta make sure I get it put back together the right way too. Feels pretty good. I'm still gonna spray some one step in these shifter pods. Just kind of flood things. Then run through them. Good stuff, good stuff. Put the wheels on. I should wipe that chain. Let's not forget about wiping that chain. One of you guys can remind me. Don't forget to wipe the chain. It's been soaking. Actually, I should hit it with compressed air. Blow the gunk out of it before hitting it with some one step. Yeah, that rear brake is not the greatest. Just, I don't know. Maybe I will try to bleed it. I don't know. I'm a little afraid of bleeding brakes. I just don't do it enough. I'm old school. All right, I'm gonna get in the way here, I think. Yeah, I don't know if there's... That was dramatic. Too bad, didn't get to see it that time. but that filthy chain is pretty shiny now. Yeah, that chain was really gross. Let's see how this thing shifts. Oh, doesn't want to come down. I just loosened the cable a bit with the barrel adjuster up by the shifter because this one was bottomed out, but I think I loosened it too much, so I'm going to back that out a turn. Back it out another turn. Yeah, there's something going on here. Maybe things just aren't moving real good yet because it's been sitting so long. So I'll kind of go through and manually try to move stuff and run through them a bunch. All right, 1, 2, 3. So I bet something's bent. Something's going on. So I'm gonna get back here and look. It doesn't look bent. It looks like my limits are okay. Things seem to be moving pretty well. Yeah. Maybe there's some friction in the cable. Yeah, see, that's where it wants to overshift. I'm behind the bike now. I'm trying to look at, see if everything's parallel. It looks really good. Looks really straight. So, what do we do here? So this is 9-speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 9-speed, 9-speed. I'm gonna look at the chain here. I think I saw one that said X9. This is where I test my eyesight. Yeah, the quick link says 9-speed on it. It's a 9-speed Sarah derailleur, I believe. You never know. Somebody could have put the wrong chain on or swapped out the wrong derailleur or something. But the derailleurs match, so I'm gonna assume that they're original to the bike. And it just doesn't look like this bike has been ridden. What is going on? Should we just check the hanger just in case? Alrighty. got my derailleur alignment gauge. So we remove the derailleur. Alright, and then you got your hanger. This is the DAG, the derailleur alignment gauge. We put this side in. Alright, and then we got these little rubber guys here that kind of tell us where we're at. And we'll put the end of the post on the edge of the rim, slide it out of the way and come back down here and check here. That's pretty close. So I always check noon, 6, 3 and 9. Yeah, I mean, it's really good. So it's not a bent hanger. Nine speed, everything's compatible. Everything's clean, everything's lubed. It's really easy to cross-thread these derailleurs into these soft hangers. And then you'll never get it right. You gotta bend things out of the way. Yeah, maybe the derailleur was a little bent. Kind of looked a little wonky from above here. Yeah, just it was really slow right up here in this gear. I'm stumped. It's just at the extremes, you know. I mean, now it's too loose, it won't go up, see? I don't know what's going on. Can't figure this one out. Should I try a new cable? New cable and replace this piece of housing? That's a trick I haven't tried yet. So it's not that hard to replace the cables. There's a little screw back here. Little plastic screw that I always forget to put back. Which, I don't know, it's not the most important part of a bicycle, well, that's for sure. Most important part is the saddle. Ask me how I know. So, removing a couple of wubby dubbies. That's what I call them, at least. There might be another wubby dubby up here, yeah. These little rubber donuts that keep the cables from whipping around, wreaking havoc on the finish. Okay, so that's gone. A brand new 1.1 millimeter slick stainless cable from Jaguar. There's two types of people in this world. The ones that say Jaguar and Rivendell, and then the ones that say Jaguar and Rivendell. It's Riverdale and it's Rivendell. I mean, I just don't know where anybody would get Rivendell out of that word, but they do, or Jaguar out of Jaguar. I understand the British saying Jaguar, you know, or aluminium. I think they actually spell it differently, don't they? Man, what did I say about these cables being easy? I can see it. There it is. There you have it. There you have it, folks. And look at that, I remembered to put the plastic screw back on. See if I remember to do the wubby dubbies. I do the wubby dubby. Man, this video sure got boring. Good thing I knew it, that it wasn't a 20-minute tune-up, that we'd run into troubles along the way. I figured it would have something to do with the disc brakes, which, frankly, we should bleed that rear one. I just don't know if I'm gonna really improve things with the bleed. And I can't imagine that it would need new pads. I just don't see that amount of miles on this bike. Okay, we're gonna replace this piece of housing. I'm gonna make it a little bit longer too. With new ferrules. So, I've got some 4mm housing down here. And you can see, just cut it a little bit longer. And then I grab a poker tool, which is just a spoke that I made sharp on one end. And I open up the inside of the housing. I got some 4mm ferrules here. Try to press these on as far as they go. That's nice and smooth. I mean, that's slicker than snot on a doorknob. Ask me how I know. Super clean bench. Where are my tools? On the ground. Okay. Stretching the cable out a little bit. Forgot my wubby dubbies. All that, and I forgot my wubby dubbies. So we'll do the donut first, and then this little dust cap, and then refeed it. Everything's very slick. Everything was very slick, but I've seen stranger things happen. And these 3x9 mountain drivetrains aren't finicky, so that's why I'm thinking something else is going on. Maybe it was how the cable was anchored. That's how it is sometimes. Like maybe I didn't get a good look. Maybe it was anchored incorrectly. That'll mess up a derailleur if you don't route the cable the right way through the anchor, especially on front derailleurs. Okay. Stretch the goodies out. All right, here we go. Everything's pretty tight, so we'll loosen it. Oh! Well, we could loosen things a bit. I'm gonna try to stretch manually here. So hold the derailleur and then pull on the cable up here, and that really stretches things out. Oh, that's pretty good, folks. That's not bad at all. I just let a little bit of cable out. And now it's too loose. But I got two adjusters. I can pull the slack out of it. Okay, we win. I like a good mechanical win. I actually love a good mechanical win. It is very, I don't know, intellectually satisfying for me. It's good for my soul to win one, you know? Just a few minutes ago, I was saying I was stumped. And now I got a bike that's shifting really quite well. I wouldn't call it perfect. There's a bit of hesitation. All right, so in the front, got a tad bit of rubbing and a tad bit of rubbing, but I think the front cable is maybe 3/4 of a turn loose, well within a reasonable new bike break-in period. We're good. But what about that rear brake? Taking a closer look at this rear brake here. I'm just going to pull the pads out and look. You know, this bike just doesn't have the miles on it to need new pads. Yeah, and I'm not going to have these pads either. So you can see there's plenty of material and they look to be evenly worn. I mean, I think they are virtually unused. So I'm just gonna put them back. I mean, part of me wanted to find something there. Part of me didn't. God, I hate disc brakes. Something's gonna go springing eventually here. Oh, yeah, well, got it back together. You know, I just wish there was more adjustability. You know, this whole idea, well, if you set it up, it'll work right. All right. Theoretically, can't argue with that. I'm calling those brakes good enough. I don't love them, but I definitely don't hate them. I mean, they're still working pretty good. They feel snappy. They're not squishy. Like if they were squishy, this is a .3 brake fluid system that is hydroscopic. Is that what they say? Hydroscopic. And it means that it picked up some moisture, and they would have to be bled. This isn't a squishy brake problem. It's just there's a little more pull on the lever than I would like. You know, if I could just twist something and make it a little less, you know, you can. But, you know, it's not that different than the front brake, and it's good enough. So I'm calling it good enough. You know, sometimes if you pump them up, but you get to a point and it's bottomed out. So we're just gonna leave it. So I got the bike on the ground, which is the last little bit of checks that I do. I'm gonna grease the seat tube. I dropped a little tri-flow in the quick release mechanism. Whoops. I'm gonna loosen the reflector, move it off to the side, grab my 6mm and give that a crank. Always tighten the seat clamp. They're always loose. It's a good thing to check if you ever have a weird creaking noise on your bike too. Check a couple bolts. I think I got a customer here. These bars feel like they're in a good position. I don't like the position of the levers. So. This is my friend Joel is back with his daughter. He was looking at bikes before. You know, there's some kids that just like love their bikes so much that they don't want to believe that they have outgrown them and get a new one. I was like, no, give me a new bike. I don't care. I'll grow one every week if I could get a new bike every week. But, so she's a little hesitant. I left it outside so they can talk through it together without me breathing down their necks. Telling them why it's a good idea to give me their money. All right, they just walked in. Okay, well that was good. They bought a bike, or they're going to buy a bike. Oh man, that brake is driving me crazy. I may or may not come back to that. But for now, for the purpose of this video, I'm calling this bike done. Check the fork. It's got a lockout fork. That's super cool. Yeah, this bike is pretty great. Everything's straight on it. Everything's tight. Good to go. Well, thanks again, bike farmers. If you made it this far, I assume you're liking the content. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Click the notification thing. So I'm posting videos a couple times a week, hopefully, for the foreseeable future. Give it a like, make some comments, tell me what I did wrong. tell me that bleeding this hydraulic brake is not that big of a deal and I should just get over it and I should learn how to do it and bleed as many brakes as possible so it becomes natural, and then I won't have to think about it just like the rest of everything. But I don't know what it is. I just have an aversion to brakes, bleeding brakes. But I probably will do it, and who knows, maybe I'll make a nice little short video of bleeding this old Hayes brake, because who knows, somebody's probably got some Hayes something or another brakes out there and need to bleed them, and I could help someone. So there's a lot more for all of us to learn, and plenty more where this came from. So thanks again for tuning in, and I hope to give you more of what you like. Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.